Introducing YouTube memberships, a fun way to support the channel while getting some exclusive perks. Click the join button to become a member now and get benefits like badges next to your name on videos, behind-the-scenes photos, advantages during the live trivia game, discounts on merchandise, private one-on-one video chats, the ability to request future video topics, and exclusive 8 to 10 minute videos on the history of the NFL. And now, on with our feature presentation. November 5th, 2023. It's week 9 of the NFL season, and we've got a big game on our hands in the Superdome down in New Orleans between the Chicago Bears and the New Orleans Saints. For the main team in our story, the Saints, to say that they need to win this one would be putting it lightly. The bad news for the Saints is that they've been struggling as of late, as after a 2-0 start, they find themselves right at 500 after dropping 4 of their last 6. The good news, though, is that the NFC South is an absolute train wreck, and they actually lead the division with their 4-4 record. But with other teams like the Buccaneers and Falcons right on their tail, they need to win this one, especially against a Bears team that is 2-6, especially against a Bears team starting a backup quarterback, and especially against a Bears team that looks like one of the worst in football. Which means that now, more than ever, with first place in the division on the line at the halfway point of the year, you cannot do anything stupid. Which, yeah, we'll get to that. After the first 2 drives of the game for each team, the Bears and Saints were even at 7 apiece. Now, the bad news for the Saints was that on drive number 3, the Bears were able to mount a drive down the field. After a 38-yard pass and an 18-yard pass, after just 2 plays, the Bears found themselves in the red zone. However, the good news for the Saints was that even though their defense absolutely bent, it did not break. On 3rd and 2, Bears quarterback Tyson Bagent looks down the field and finds absolutely nothing. He's blanketed, he feels pressure, and he just has to throw it away. There's a penalty on the play, but it's no big deal at all, because the penalty came in the backfield in the area of offensive holding. And sure enough, when the referee announces the penalty, it's holding on the Bears. The Saints decline the penalty, bring up 4th and 2, and get at least some semblance of a stop.
Holding, offense number 62, 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Wait a minute. Timeout. They accepted the penalty? But why? The Bears weren't going for it on 4th down. The Bears were going to kick the field goal. You had them stopped. You had them freaking stopped. Why are you giving them a second chance? Why are you possibly giving them a second chance to do something and develop some sort of life? Nothing good can come from this. There was nothing good that can come from this decision. Dennis Allen, you absolute moron!
Bagent with time, now steps up, looking to run again. Inside the 20, Bagent still going at the 15, lunges up ahead.
Yep, just as I thought. The Bears make him pay and get a 1st down. Because of course, who could have seen that one coming except, I don't know, literally everyone? And just for good measure, let's just check how this drive ends, shall we?
Bagent pulls it back, now looking end zone for Kmet, number 2 for the Bears tight end.
Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something to look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something to look awful almost immediately. These are moves where a gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of New Orleans Saints head coach Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen. Someone's got to take the title of the worst active coach in the NFL now that Josh McDaniels got fired. And it's so kind and generous of you to step up to the plate and throw your name into the hat. Because my God, what the heck was this decision? It's not the first time that Dennis Allen has been on dumb decisions. You can learn more about his abysmal clock management during a Monday Night Football game last year by clicking the card in the upper right corner. And heck, it's not even the first time this season that Dennis Allen has been on dumb decisions. You can learn more about whatever the heck he was thinking at the end of the Thursday Night Football game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, not that I'm complaining, by clicking the card in the upper right corner. And I've got a sneaky suspicion that this won't be the last time it happens this year. So with that being said, let's take a look at why accepting a penalty to bring up third down instead of declining it so that fourth down happens is a really bad idea. It's not even the first time this season I've had to do a video like this. Ron Rivera did this just 2 weeks ago during a game between the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants, which you can learn more about by clicking the card in the upper right corner. And it's just as stupid now as it was then. There are only 2 reasons whatsoever that you accept the penalty here and do not bring up fourth down. You do this if you fear that the opposition is going to go for it, or if you have a chance to take them out of field goal range. If it's third and long or fourth and short when the opposition is going to leave the offense out on the field, or it's a 56-yard field goal versus a 66-yard field goal, it makes sense to do this and pass up the fourth down opportunity. And shocker, none of those apply here. None of those freaking apply here. Let's say you start with the first option. You're scared that the Bears are going to go for it, so you trust your defense to get a stop on a 12-yard play versus a 2-yard play. Why? Why did you possibly think they're going to go for it here? Because they went for it on 4th and 1 at the 37-yard line? Which is a completely different situation than this one? They have a backup quarterback in the game. It's a long 2 yards to get the first down. They can take the lead with a field goal. There was nothing that indicated that they were going to go for it. In the first half all season, with Tyson Bagent under center, want to know how many times the Bears have gone for it on 4th and 2 or longer, excluding the final play of the half, where it's just line up to throw a pass so that the clock expires without punting it back? 0! Zilch! Nada! It's never happened! In fact, on the entire season, on 4th and 2 or longer in the first half, once again, minus the final play of the half, the Bears have not gone for it once. There was nothing to indicate whatsoever that they were going to go for it in this spot when they can just take the lead with the field goal, and when their field goal unit was getting ready. So there was nothing to worry about here, especially since if this truly was go for it on 4th down territory, they're probably calling a run. So just based on their philosophy, even if you lacked all judgment and awareness beforehand, you could put 2 and 2 together and realize that they were not going to go for it here. It could not be more obvious. Again, nothing to worry about here. Nothing at all. Which brings up the second option. You believe that by taking the penalty and making a third down again but backed up 10 more yards, that you can push the Bears out of field goal range. And if you genuinely believe that, I don't know what to tell you, man, other than the fact that you're absolutely delusional. Let's say you decline the penalty. It's 4th and 2 at the 9-yard line, so it's a 27-yard field goal, which is a chip shot. If you accept the penalty and bring up 3rd and 12 and get this stop, it's a 37-yard field goal, which, once again, is an absolute chip shot. Cairo Santos has literally not missed a field goal all season before this. Not one. In fact, since joining the Bears, on kicks from inside 40 yards, he has not missed once. He joined the Bears in 2020, and on kicks from the 30 to 39-yard range, he's a perfect 24 for 24. So you're not pushing out of that range at all. And even if you do get a sack on 3rd and 12 to push them back 8 more yards or so, it's still a 45-yard field goal, which for Santos and most healthy kickers is a chip shot. So the situation is exactly the same. It's exactly the same no matter how you want to slice it. Either you decline the penalty and Santos has a chip shot field goal, or you accept the penalty and Santos has a chip shot field goal if you get the stop. Which means that the risk-reward analysis of this, which is how I always love to look at these dumb decisions, is absolutely insane when you think about it. Absolutely insane. The risk of declining the penalty and bringing up 4th and 2 is that you allow 3 points. The reward is that you don't allow a touchdown. The risk of accepting the penalty is that you can allow a first down and then allow a touchdown, which is not good. The reward is that if you get a stop, you're still allowing 3 points. So the best case scenario in one option and the best case scenario in the other option is identical, which is that you allow 3 points. But the worst case scenario in one option by allowing 3 points is significantly better than the worst case scenario in the other option by allowing 7 points and a touchdown. Which raises the obvious question. Why the heck would you even consider that second option? Why would you accept the penalty? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. It didn't make sense when Ray Malavasi did it in 1980 with the Rams against the Falcons in a game that you can learn more about by clicking the card in the upper right corner. It didn't make sense when Ron Rivera did this 2 weeks ago. And it didn't make sense today. It just didn't make any sense today. And after the game, Dennis Allen defended his decision by saying that the reason that he accepted the holding penalty was because he thought the Bears would be aggressive and go for it there. So he wanted to try and get the Bears into a 4th and longer situation so they wouldn't. But again, for the reasons I mentioned before, why would they do that? Why would they take that chance? Kick the field goal and they take the lead. Kick the field goal and they do literally what they've done for the entire season in that spot. They weren't going to go for it here. Again, I cannot stress that enough. They were not going to go for it there. And you're crazy if you thought that they were actually going to. And it wound up costing your team a touchdown that they didn't have to allow. Because of course it did. Of freaking course it did. Congratulations, Dennis Allen. He just gave the Bears 4 points for no reason. And trust me, I get that in the game between these two teams behind me right here, that at the end of the day, the New Orleans Saints won 24-17, thanks to forcing 5 turnovers defensively. I get all of that. I get that in the grand scheme of things, this sequence did not end up mattering. But I don't care. I honestly don't care. Dennis Allen is an abysmal head coach, and he also showed that later in the game when the Saints were up by 7 points, facing 4th and 1, and they could have made it a 2-score game midway through the 4th quarter. And instead, they opted to go for it with Derek Carr instead of Taysom Hill when they tried a QB run up the middle. It just makes no sense. Again, I know the Saints won this game, but they're winning games this season in spite of Dennis Allen, and not because of him, because he lacks any situational awareness necessary to be a good head coach in this league. Just pathetic. So what do we learn from all of this? Honestly, I don't even know. Because after Ron Rivera's debacle 2 weeks ago, you would think that Dennis Allen would learn his lesson. But apparently not, because it bears repeating. If there are 2 options, and the best case scenario in both is the same, but the worst case scenario is way worse in one than it is in the other, then do not choose the option that has the worst case scenario, especially if that scenario means a touchdown. If you have a chance to get a team off the field, and you know they are not going to go for it, and you cannot force them out of field goal range, then get that team off the field. If the opposing team is waving the white flag and is fine taking 3 points, then let them wave the white flag. And if Dennis Allen is your head coach, you might need to seriously reevaluate the way you run your organization that led you to this point in the first place. I don't care that you won. I don't care that you're first in the worst division I've seen in my life. You're still a bad head coach. Because when all of these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Get your official Jaguar Gear 9 merchandise by going to jj9shop.com, and be sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel out a lot. Join me every Wednesday night where we'll play NFL Trivia for cash prizes at 9 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. To learn more about the history of college football, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 8. To learn more about the history of Major League Baseball, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 7. Also, special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters for helping out the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. See how you can become a patron and request future video topics in the description below.